which is a kind of personal description from somebody detained. As of today, he says, I've spent more than 11 years in Guantanamo Bay. To be precise, it's been 4,084 long days and nights. I've never been charged with any crime. I've never been allowed to see the evidence that the US once pretended they had against me. It's all secret, even the statements they tortured out of me. In 2007, roughly halfway through my ordeal, I was cleared for release by the Bush administration. In 2009, under Obama, all 6 of the US frontline intelligence agencies combined to clear me again. But I'm still here. Every day in Guantanamo is torture, as was the time they held me before that in Bagram and Kandahar Air Force bases in Afghanistan. It's not really the individual acts of abuse. It's more the combined experience of them all. Is there anybody else who would like to comment or to maybe publicise an event?
Who's got the authority to actually release prisoners? If Obama hasn't got the authority...
Well, he has. He has the authority. Indeed, under the National Defence Authorisation Act, he is able to issue a waiver, what they call a waiver, which will set up a process to release anybody, certainly the people who've been cleared. But he refuses to do it.
Is that the process that freed the other prisoners?
Yes. Do you want to say something about this? Yeah.
Only quickly to answer your query. All the UK citizens and residents were returned. Not all at once, but gradually over the years. And there was no need for a waiver. It was just by public protest and by appeals from this government for their release. The last one was Binyam Mohammed in 2009, and public protest then, and his military lawyer, because he was actually on a charge to military commission, which is not a safe organisation. It doesn't provide justice. Again, he was his military attaché, who knew that he had committed no crime. She came and appealed to the Foreign Secretary, who was David Miliband. So between the two countries, they managed to do it. There was no waiver or agreements that they had to meet on security grounds. This waiver is a kind of concession, but it's never been used by Obama, and he could use it. It just means that they don't have to go through any other process. He could authorise, through his Secretary of Defence, that this is a safe country for the return of a detainee or prisoner. And we fulfil all the requirements. This country has legislation to hold people in prison or under house arrest, or to be tagged. And Shaka said that he's quite willing not to have a passport. He doesn't want to do anything else but return to his family. And they could authorise it. Also, the President has executive powers. He is the President of the US. He has the power to say, let them go. So he has the ultimate power. He's too weak to fulfil his own pledges. And that is the problem. Right now, there is a lot of pressure from organisations like this all over the world and in America. And one of the previous chief prosecutors in Guantanamo, called Morris Davis, Colonel Morris Davis, he's had a petition, and the petition has got nearly 400,000 signatures. So there's a lot of pressure for Obama to appoint somebody now to organise the release. First of all, those that have been cleared for release, and then to process all of the others. soon. So there's a lot of pressure, and you can do it.
So it was in the news a lot about 2 weeks ago, and I'm wondering what pressure, why that pressure is landing in terms of the news.
Well, the news has come out from Sweden to begin with. A lot of stuff has come out about the hunger strike over the past 3 months. All they've actually done, if you actually think about it, if you were listening 5 years ago when President Obama became president for the first time, everything that's being said in the news now, all the reasons for not closing Guantanamo Bay, all the so-called reasons for closing Guantanamo Bay, it's just recycling. It's very green, you know. But at the end of the day, if he wanted to, this is a man who can drone any country in the world, press the button, he can go for it. He can nuke anybody that he wants to. He even threatens sort of teeny pop stars and things like that with being drone. So if he wanted to close Guantanamo Bay, it's a 5-minute job. Day 101 of the hunger strike today. 101 days ago, it could have ended. On the 4th of March, lawyers for the prisoners wrote to the command at Guantanamo Bay. They put the demands that I believe was read to journalists. The demands were that they show respect to the prisoners and show them the human rights, and also that they were desecrating their Qurans. All they had to do was those two very simple things: hunger strike over. But they didn't. Yes, it's been very simple, and they never mention that in the media. The media has failed to mention why the people on hunger strike in the first place. All they do is go through all these stupid arguments for why Guantanamo Bay should stay open. We've actually done a lot of media work over the past few months to do with the hunger strike. What ends up happening is that you get this, usually an American journalist or some kind of security expert or something, who gives you all of these really stupid reasons for, danger and harm. As Joy said, there's 100,000 people who signed a petition to close Guantanamo Bay. They're not the only people who are protesting. There are protests all over the world today and yesterday. This is a global solidarity that we are actually taking part in. There's at least 5 actions going on in the UK today. Okay, so the world wants Guantanamo Bay closed. $1 million a prisoner. It's a pretty expensive place to keep going as well. I mean, I feel sorry for the American taxpayers because they have to pay the bill for it. But at the end of the day, they wanted to close Guantanamo Bay. It's a 5-minute job. It really doesn't take that long. But the reason why we are showing solidarity here in the UK, as Ben said, it's our government. They're in it as well. 166 men, they're all foreigners. Why are their governments not doing anything? The Yemeni Human Rights Minister was in the US last week. She did her best. But what about the others? David Cameron and Barack Obama met on Monday. What were they talking about? What does Barack Obama care about the European Union? And seriously, do they care about Syria? I think they're just waiting for everyone to die over there as well. So it's not really a question. This is an issue. One man. In the last 3 weeks, 10 protests have been put together for today and yesterday in the UK. We're not being paid. We don't have an events manager. We don't have Danny Boyle choreographing our murder scene for us here or anything like that. Zero budget. We paid for this ourselves. We managed to do it. Why can't they, the two most powerful people in the world, just bring one man back to the UK? It's not rocket science. It's a very simple answer. They don't want to. And they keep Guantanamo Bay open because it's a nice little threat to the rest of the world. Because they can put anybody in an orange jumpsuit. Americans, they pay $900,000 a year for each Guantanamo prisoner. They also pay with the National Defense Authorization Act, which says the same thing can happen to them if they fall foul of their government. So, it's more than just a prison. It's more than just a hunger strike. It's a symbol. First thing, end the hunger strike. Second thing, close the prison. And the third thing is get rid of the regime that it represents and has represented for nearly 12 years now. That's really what it is.
What do you think is going to influence them to do that?
I don't know.
Is it a media core, do you think? Because the media is there to be manipulated.
The media has been absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. The British media, the BBC, the Guardian, even those nice little left-wing people who claim that they care, they could have said a lot more about Shakarama's case in the last few months. This man could be dying for all we know, and they really don't care. It's just a story for the Observer. But this is a real person. He has 4 children in this city right now, and it's just a nice little piece to run on a Sunday. So it's a nice little class people can think about something different while they're drinking their tea and chomping on their croissants or whatever they do on Sundays. But this is a real human being. This is a real situation. This is something that we really have to look at. We have that little girl. These aren't abstract people in somewhere else. These are people right here, right now. And we've got to do something. And if they won't do it, we've got to do it.
anybody else like to ask a
I'm not
question?
picking on you
We
or
can
anything.
have a forum on this. Anybody?
Can I just say one other thing? I've actually got a fantastic picture on my phone. There's this lady who's at the FA playoffs at Wembley today, and she's actually gone down there in an orange jumpsuit and a black hood, and she's got a free Shakarama placard with her. And she actually came all the way from Bradford, because Bradford City are playing. So you know we should all cheer on Bradford City today as well. She's actually come all the way down in that orange jumpsuit with her placard, and she's actually held it up. And good for her because she actually got her own show down at Wembley. So yeah, good for her.
Great stuff. Excellent.
The problem with the media, especially in view of the recent poll that was carried out recently, which shows that the majority of Americans have been completely persuaded that Guantanamo needs to remain open. So it's about the information that the public is given. And if they are given an information that continues to contribute to the profit generation of the surveillance, the military, etc., people are going to be sort of falling prey to that sort of discourse. So it's about doing your own research and looking to see, for example, this general, colonel, who's a former Guantanamo campaign military prosecutor who set up this campaign, so the petition.
I just feel that the left should do what the right are doing, which is hire PR companies, because journalists don't have time for journalists. It's all journalism. So they just redress up any press release that they get. They don't have time to investigate anything. So why don't we do what the Zionists do and just bombard them with polls to get everybody on the network phoning the news 100 times a day? Because the BBC, you ask the news desk, you read Flat Earth News, that's what it says. This is what you have to do. We have to change our campaign strategy to be...
What we need is money and resources to be able to do that. But it's a wonderful idea if one can do it. At the moment, what we've got are ideas for photo opportunities which might virally make connections with people. And also, of course, persistence. This is very, very important. It's been said by a number of people. We must never give up. We must keep going. And when you have the hunger strike to actually incentivize us, then we are, doubly impelled to actually create events like this on very few resources, or the events like the Save Shakarama campaign at Parliament Square on Monday and Tuesday. If anybody else has got ideas for events or publicity, then please let us know. Would anybody like to say anything or ask a question?
So can I just reading off what this lady says? I mean, that's a very good valid point. I mean, because we are constantly outside the US Embassy, we're here at least once a month, and apparently they're not very happy about that, which is a good thing. Because, they close Guantanamo, we go home. But, it's still open, so we're still here. So if anyone does actually have any good ideas on what we could be doing, as in we, all of us, not just the London Guantanamo campaign, we would like to hear it. It's something you can share with us right now. It doesn't have to be outside the US Embassy, and as has been mentioned, it's not just the Americans, there's global collusion in this. How do we bring that point across?
Any points, any questions?
I'm listening.
Do see Aisha or Joy over there to get information about these organisations so they can email you, or you can find out about the Facebook sites and so on. And please spread the word, that is most important. Any other comments, any other thoughts? I'd just like to repeat thanks to all of you for being here. It would have been disgraceful not to have been here. And, sorry,
We've got 2 events.
2 events, Aisha, please.
Yeah, sorry. We do have our monthly demonstrations. We are outside the United States Embassy on the first Thursday of every month between 12 and 1, and then outside Speaker's Corner, as in just outside Marble Arch, at 1:15 to 2:15. The first Thursday of every single month. We've actually been doing this for the last 7 years. We were inspired by Brian Hoare's campaign in Parliament Square, and we thought if he could stay there for so long, we would have a permanent presence outside the US Embassy. This guy called Barack Obama came along in 2008, and we actually thought he'd close Guantanamo. We'd only be here for 2 years. It's been 7 years now, Okay, so please do join us. It will be on the 6th of June. And the lady who's over there, whose husband is in prison in Iraq, is also on hunger strike. The next demonstration will actually be in solidarity with him. So we will have more details about his case as well, because we didn't have that much today. The other thing is 26th of June is International Day in support of victims of torture. We also welcome extraordinary rendition, and we're against the torture of any human being. Very simple reason, it's absolutely prohibited. So on the 26th of June, I'm afraid we don't have leaflets yet, but do get one of our campaign leaflets. It will be on our website soon. We will hold a demonstration 6 to 8 o'clock in Trafalgar Square. Okay, we will have placards which we will give. It was a no to torture demonstration. It's not Guantanamo specific, it's torture specific. So for all those torture victims, we had people at past demonstrations from Russia, from Sri Lanka, from Pakistan, from Iran, and we would like to have that kind of solidarity for all victims of torture all over the world, wherever they are. Countries like this, they have been involved in torture in the past, such as in Northern Ireland, so you don't even have to go to another country to get the UK aspect of how to torture people. And even the torture methods that are used in Guantanamo Bay and in Iraq, they were pioneered in this very country. So I think it's very apt that we do hold a demonstration. Please check it out on our website and stuff. And
Website are you referring to? Safe Shelter?
No, not the Guantanamo campaign. We organised demonstrations today.
Okay, contact details are on this leaflet on the bottom. If anybody wants one.